What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lambo Plays Podcast, episode 43, UFC Vegas 68. And I'm here along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. What is up, Timothy? Are you ready for UFC Vegas 68?
What's up, Narco? I am very excited for this. Got the week off, ready to go. Pumped for this card. This is like a glorified Dana White Contender Series card here. Yeah, I can't wait for your takes because you're gonna usually rock these regional scene dudes.
Yeah, I feel like I was taping. I tweeted out earlier this week. I'm like, I feel like I'm taping regional scenes here with some of these fighters, but kind of familiar with some. I think I have some good leans here on this card. I feel like I have a nice pulse on some of these fighters, but we'll see. That doesn't mean it's going to work out, but it's always good. I kind of feel good, honestly. Going, I just see. First off, I see a lot of violence. That's one. Number two, I do want to state this as well. Is we fucking had a hell of a week last week hitting, or 2 weeks ago, hitting these Lambo parlays. And we've started off the year with fucking a huge bang. I mean, we've hit a bunch of them. I'm just looking to keep it rolling, But with that being said, I do want to go over to chat and always shout out my chat. Mushroom is in the house. What is up? Yes, one more sleep until violence. That's what I just said. Yep.
Maybe two more sleeps.
Yeah, maybe two more sleeps. Some people might sneak in a nap before that card starts. But Chronic Combat, what is up, my man? Let's make some money, my friend. Dumpy, let's go, broski. Let's go. Philip V is also in the house. Addicted to Combat, what is up, my friend? Thank you for joining. Yes, sir. One more sleep before we get some bangers here. I like this card, man. I not from the aspect that there's some big names, the fact that I like how it's matched up, to be honest. And I just feel like there's a ton of violence on this card. But with that being said, let's start it off here in the flyweight division. It is the 12-0 Tatsuro Tyra versus the 8-1 Jesus Aguilar. Tim, what do you got here for your first Lambo play?
Well, I already made the bet. The line has moved a lot on it since earlier in the week. But I made a bet earlier in the week on Tyra by KO at plus 850 on Bet Rivers. It still is plus 650 there and plus 600 on FanDuel, which I think are good numbers. My pick, I think, would be that he gets the sub in this most likely, but I do think that the KO is live because he's extremely dangerous with ground and pound, as well as he's got stand up, he's got power standing as well. So I would predict it would probably be ground and pound type of TKO situation, and I think that's live. I think positionally he could get mount. I think he could take his back and then just pound the shit out of him. So give me a shot at that at plus 650, even at plus 600 where it's at right now. I think it still is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bet on that as well at plus 850, but that line is gone, and I'm going to give a different prop here for this one here. I'm seeing, Jesus Aguilar makes a ton of mistakes, obviously, on the ground. He put himself in some bad positions against Arison Ferreira in the Dana White's Contender Series. He just makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, he's a grappler at heart. He goes after it. He's a tough Mexican, right? And so with that being said, Tatsuro Tyra kind of has been struggling a little bit getting finishes in the UFC, right? He couldn't finish Candelario, even though he had a bunch of spots. Eventually finished Vergara in the second. I kind of see the same thing here. Maybe a second round submission for Tatsuro Tyra. It's plus 525 on Bet Rivers and Unibet. I think that he can probably find it in a second. I like the KO number, but I kind of agree with you in the sense that I think this is going to probably end up in sub just because the guy just messes around a lot on the ground, Aguilar, and he's not very good down there. So Tyra a lot quicker, a lot more smoother, very good with the back takes. I can honestly see a back take and maybe a wrap there after he gets a back take. So Hopefully it's not round 1. Hopefully it's round 2. But if it's not round 2, I do want the KO because I do have a bet on the KO. So, but I will give Tatsuro Taira submission 2 plus 525. I think he should easily roll here. And the line indicates it. I mean, he's minus 1,600. Moving on, fight number 2. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 15-5 Jung Park versus the 11-6 Dennis Tululian. And I will kick this one off. I'm kind of looking at these late round props for Jung Park. Dennis comes out full bore, a lot of power early. He's a little harder to take down early. I think he has pretty good get-up game early. But as the fight goes on, as this guy kind of slows down, I do think Park has a big cardio edge here. He has a decent grappling edge here. And like I said, as Tululian slows down later in this fight, I think it gets a little easier for Park. So for me, I'm going to give out the round 2 prop on Park at plus 850. It's a little off the market here on BetOnline. It's 850 on BetOnline, 550 on DraftKings, 650 everywhere else. So you're getting 200 points here. And, you know, when you look at it, he's only 1,150 max for round 3. So 850 just feels like it's a little bit off, and it's on BetOnline. So I'm going to take Park round 2 plus 850, and I do like Park to win this fight. Who do you like here, Tim, and what's your prop?
Yeah, I have a bunch written down, but they're all, it's the same exact read as you. I feel like the late round props are the way to go with this. Also, I do feel that the sub is more live than the KO. The KO is live too, but I just feel like the sub is going to be more live. His grappling edge is significant, and if he does stand with Tululian, even in rounds 2 and 3, and if he doesn't grapple, I think this fight is way closer than the line says. But I do think he grapples. I think he'll get some grappling success. So yeah, I like this round 2. Like you said, I don't have access to bet online, so plus 650 is fine, and plus 1,000 on round 3. And I think getting hairy with it, you could go like the sub prop in round 2, round 3 aren't bad. It's like 1,100 and 1,800. I just think that the sub is going to be more live, like I said earlier. So plus 350 on the sub. Then you got the round 2, round 3 props if you want to take greasy ass stabs.
All right. Rips is in the house. What is up, my friend?
Rips.
George also in the house. What is up? Then he said, "Did you get a new camera, Marco? Stream is looking." Yes, I did. I asked on Twitter for some camera recommendations. About almost everybody gave me the same recommendation. It was pretty cheap, and yeah, I mean it's a nice picture, so I'm happy with it. But yeah, I'm glad someone noticed right away because my pictures were kind of shitty, and I apologize for that. But we'll move on. Fight number 3, it is in the bantamweight division. It is the 9-6-2 Ji-Yeon Kim versus the 7-2 Mandy Bohm. Sorry, it's in the flyweight division. I said bantamweight. It's in the flyweight division. Tim, kick this one off.
All right, Mandy Bohm is one of the worst to ever do it in MMA. Honestly, she's really bad. Not saying that Ji-Yeon Kim is really awesome either, but I think she's better than Mandy Bohm, and I think she gets Mandy Bohm out of there. This is the time where some of the power shots that are very inaccurate from Kim, but just keep coming from her over and over for 15 minutes. She's just going to keep shooting and throwing shots that are pretty much blind shots, and I think she's going to eventually hit her a few times, and then round 2, round 3, the KO is plus 500. Round 2 KO is plus 1,800. Round 3 KO is plus 2,400. So those are sweet looks. I think Kim KOs her, and I think it's probably late, more attritional than one shot power and like early.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I got an early on a Kim number, like minus 220. Prior to watching any tape or anything, I just thought, Mandy Bohm is not good. And then I rewatched some tape on Kim, and I came away, I'm like, do I really want to lay minus 220 on this chick that fights pretty close to her opposition most of the time? Um, and I came out saying, no, I don't. And I hedged the other side. And basically, I'm off this fight from a money line perspective. However, I do agree the fact that Kim late round props are pretty good here, man. I'm going to go with Kim round 3 KO plus 2,400. And my reasoning is I think she has the better cardio here. Mandy Bohm just, doesn't throw a lot of volume. Basically got killed by Ariane Lipsky, dropped 2 times, hurt another once or twice. Jian Kim, yes, she's more attritional. Doesn't look like she has a lot of power. But I mean, she hurts some of these girls in these fights. Like she rocked Priscilla Cachoeira pretty damn bad in that fight. And Bomb, yeah, she's never been KO'd, but she's fought pretty low-level opposition. And the 2 times she stepped up, she's lost pretty handily against Leonardo and Lipsky. And Leonardo is not really known for striking, and she was landing pretty good on her. So with that being said, I like Kim here. Kim round 3, KO plus 2,400. It might be very, very live, honestly. If we get to the 3rd round, it should be fun. It might get a little greasy, and maybe we hit that KO prop on Kim round 3 plus 2,400. Moving on. Fight number 4. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 7-0 Hyun Sung Park versus the 6-1 Seung Guk Choi. And I can kick this one off. I'm going to give out Park KO plus 750. And my reasoning is like watching Park, it's kind of good everywhere. He's at a good camp with the Korean Zombie and them. And, when I watched the Sera fight, like he has pretty good pop in his punches. Against Topnoy Kiram, he gets dropped in the 1st round. But Topnoy is like a high level like kickboxer, Muay Thai guy. And he has a ton of power. So I kind of forgive him for that. And then looking at the other guy, Sung, I honestly don't know what he does very well. Like he wrestles some, like he gets the fight to the ground, but doesn't seem to have any power in his punches. He doesn't have a lot of volume on the feet. I think the more athletic guy is Hyun Sung Park. I don't think this guy Choi is going to actually have success with takedowns. So if this is standing, Park throws a lot more power. Park throws a lot more volume. I just feel like 750 is a little off here, and I think he can KO this Choi guy, even though Choi's never actually been KO'd in his career. I do think it can happen here. And Choi, the other thing with Choi is he's fought extremely low level of opposition throughout his amateur and pro career. So give me Hyun Sung Park by KO plus 750. What do you got here, Tim?
Yeah, I want to say this ahead of time. This is the least confident fight and the least taped fight that I did, so I don't have a very strong read on this one at all. But I'm on the other side, and I kind of think that Choi's path is like a greasy ass split decision. Like just win by decision is plus 290, split is 11-1. Yeah, kind of. I kind of felt the same thing. I kind of felt like Park is more dangerous and just more athletic. So I just feel like the way that Choi wins this is by getting the takedowns and being able to hold him down and do a little bit of damage, but primarily just control him and win just a really close kind of tough to decide who wins this fight. I didn't look at what end split is, but it's probably around plus 400 range. That's okay as well for me. But I mean, since I said Choi by points, I'll just stick with those two. Not super confident on the read though at all, and didn't have very much data on these guys.
All right. Ghost Gardner says, FYI, Narco audio at 2 and Tim's is at 8. Is my audio bad? If you guys can't hear me well in chat, please let me know and see what's going on. But everything looks to be on the up and up, but maybe it is low. Let me know, please, in chat if my audio is low. With that being said, we will move on. Fight number 5. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 6-0 Rinya Nakamura versus the 10-2 Toshiami Kazama. Tim, kicked it off.
Well, I think that there's like huge athletic differences in these guys. I like Nakamura a lot to finish this fight. I think people are kind of dismissing this submission. I'm not saying that he goes for them as often as he goes for gigantic, bomb shots. But I do think that the sub is live here. Got a good choke series. He's strong as shit. And I feel like who's the guy that he's fighting? I'm sorry, I lost his name. Kazama is very like bad positionally when he's trying to wrestle. Like he's basically going to put himself in spots where he could either get choked out or he could get guillotined. So I like taking a shot on the 650 submission prop. And if you're greasy as hell, when you get those, you get good round props. So I don't really know what time it happens, but just saying them, I'll just take the sub prop. But it's 14, 24, and 40-1 on 1, 2, and 3 on those. So if you feel any certain round that you want to take a shot at, those are not bad. But plus 650 on Nakamura sub looks good to me.
Yeah. So, like looking at Kazama, another guy that's gonna want to grapple here against Nakamura, but like Nakamura's Olympic level wrestler, looks to be the much stronger guy in my opinion, and I don't know how much success this Kazama guy is gonna have getting Nakamura down, and if he doesn't get him down. Nakamura, the one thing I like is he is absolutely swinging for the fences when he's fighting. So he's trying to knock your head off. He does have, 5 KOs, I believe, in his, 4 KOs in his 6 wins. So he is more prone to knock you out than submit you. However, he does have a submission by key lock. Kazama, I think, is the more like credentialed, like BJJ guy, but like you said, he could put himself in a bad position and Nakamura could sub him. But I'm going to go with a little bit of Nakamura KO1, man. I mean, this guy comes out like a bat out of hell. It's plus 290, which is right there on the cusp of the Lambo play. But this is the one fight that I could say I didn't really like too much from a prop perspective. So I just went with KO1 Nakamura here.
It's a Lambo. It's a Lambo. It's just like a used Lambo. It's got like 5,000 miles on it.
Yeah. It definitely has some miles on it. Yeah, it's one of those Lambos that has some miles on it. All good here. I hear you both fine. I was away from laptop. Could hear Tim. Couldn't hear Narco. Thought the street. Maybe it's me. Okay. All right. Good. Horny Cowboy says Rinya sub round props are off on Bet365. By the way, got it at plus 270. 2,700? What the heck? Yeah, that seems like it's a little off. If Tim got 650 and you got 2,700, you got about 3 up on Tim, not just 1. Yeah, let's move on. Fight number 6. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 22-3 Zai versus the 9-1 Jung Lee. Tim, is it you again or is it me now?
Isn't it Yi Za versus Jung Lee?
That's what I said.
Sorry. I thought you said something different on that.
Jai. Yeah.
Okay.
On Tapology it says Jai. So I don't know. Who knows? Yi, Jai. They're all the same.
This is like the fucking 16 candles, like Long Dog Dong versus.
I mean, a lot of these Asian
Long
fighters.
Wang.
Yeah, a lot of these Asian fighters have they're mixed. They're like first and last names. They're something somewhere else. They're different.
All these weird names. All these weird Asian names.
So I think is it my turn? Yeah, it is my turn actually. So I'll kick this one off. I really like probably one of my favorite prospects on this whole card is Jung Lee. I mean, if anybody watched Face-Offs, I don't know how these guys are in the same division. I mean, Jung Lee is towering over this guy. He's an absolute savage in the ring too, man. This guy has one punch power, a lot of power in his hands, dude. Like he can put your lights out. Jia Yi or Yi Jia has been knocked out by a guy that was on the road to the UFC, that Kiramulo. I don't know how to say his last name, but he was on the road to UFC. He knocked him out in the second round. So this guy can be knocked out. In his regional scene fights, he's fought a bunch of cans, like absolute cans all over the place. He got heel hooked by a guy that was 5-9 at the time, but now is 14-10 somehow. Anyways, what I will say is that Jung Lee is a big prospect in my eyes, has a ton of power. I kind of feel like he's similar to Ho Choi. That's how much power this guy has. And with that being said, I love Lee by KO. I'm going to take Lee KO 2-3. It's plus 390. Maybe Jia Yi has some like grappling success early, maybe get a takedown, maybe hold him here and there. But I really believe Lee's going to find that button, whether it be first, second, or third. I think he's going to knock him out. I have a bet on the KO. But I'm going to give this prop on FanDuel. It's KO 2-3. It's plus 390 on FanDuel. What do you got, Tim?
Yeah, I like Lee round 1, Lee round 2. Same reasons. I like him as well from a prospect spot as well. I'm not too big on Yijia. Just think kind of like good, like average everywhere, not great. So yeah, I think early. Actually, I don't think that the fight gets to round 3. So I think pretty aggressive style from Lee. So I think he gets him out of there in round 1 or round 2.
So what was it? What was the bet? Sorry.
Round 1 is a tricycle. It's plus 200. Round 2 is plus 450.
All right. Let's move on. It is fight number 7, and it is in the lightweight division. It is the 6-0 Anshul Jubilee versus the 13-2 Jaka Seragai. Tim, what do you got here?
I've got Seragi KO plus 240. I know it's a little bit under as well. I think it's KO 1 or KO 2, plus 550, plus 850. I like both of those. I obviously would hedge with the KO. I think he's just better and more dangerous and more just quicker, a little bit flashier as well. But he's got power all the way through 15 minutes. I know it kind of seems like he's got like one of those. We talk about it a lot. Like he's got like a functional gas tank where he looks like he's a functional gasser. Like he'll look like he's tired, but he's still functional. And he still is able to fucking finish you with something crazy. So yeah, I think Seragi gets him out in round 1 or round 2. So KO is plus 240, and then round 1 KO is plus 550. KO 2 is plus 850.
All right, Tim is all over the Seragi side. And for me, everybody knows I'm on the opposite side. I really like Jubilee in this spot. I think Seragi, honestly, is trash from what I've seen on tape. His striking is not good whatsoever. He beat probably 2 of the worst guys in the road to UFC. And the first guy, the Pawan Man Singh, is a terrible fighter. And he went 3 rounds and actually was landing pretty bad on Jaka Seragi in the 3rd round before the spinning back fist, right? So huge red flag for me there on Seragi. Then, Seragi gets a one-punch knockout versus Ben Key, who's been knocked out 5 times. So the guy clearly doesn't have a chin. But when I watch the guy fight, like, I think he does have very good kicks, and he throws, like, combinations with punches and kicks. But his hands are not good, man. Like, this guy, when you watch this guy, he's jumping when he's throwing his right hand. His back foot is coming off the floor every time he throws his right hand. That's like terrible technique. That is not boxing, dude. That's like some crazy wild shit that he's learned, but that's terrible technique on his part. The other side, Jubilee, very hittable guy. Like he got hit a lot against Kim in his road to UFC fight, right? But Kyung Pyo Kim was the guy that was supposed to win that whole thing. He was the favorite. He was probably the best fighter on that card, on the Road to UFC card. Like, this guy's extremely talented. Went 3 rounds with Arman Sarukian in a back and forth fight. Like, yeah, Sarukian won, but is that a bad loss? Like, going 3 rounds against Arman Sarukian? And Arman had a hell of a fucking time taking this dude down. Like, this dude is strong as a bull, had very good wrestling, very good striking, has a ton of power in his hands. And what does Jubilee go out there do? I mean, fights for 15 minutes, right? On the feet for the most part, gets taken down, but jumps right back up, but wins a 15-minute striking match against the guy that was supposed to win the whole thing, right? That's a very good striker. I don't understand the love for Jekka here. Like, I get that people think he might get a knockout, but like, Kim landed some big punches on Jubilee, and Jubilee took him well. The other point of this fight is that people probably don't know, Jubilee went into that fight with Kim with a bad MCL that was really severely sprained and a broken toe. So he fought with 2 injuries prior to getting in that fight, and he didn't do any type of running, grappling, wrestling at all throughout his whole camp because of his knee and his toe. And some people were like, "Oh, why didn't he wrestle?" Because he actually has a background wrestling and he's got decent jiu-jitsu, right? Why didn't he wrestle against Kim? Like, he shouldn't be striking against him, right? That's part of the reason he didn't wrestle. His knee was fucked up and he had a broken toe. I've heard some people say, "Oh, this guy he's a quitter. He's this." How the fuck can this guy be a quitter? He had a fucked up knee and a broken toe, went in there and fought probably the best guy in the tournament and beat him in 15 minutes of striking. Now people are telling me that Jekka's gonna beat this guy in the striking when this guy just beat Kim 15 minutes of striking? There's no fucking way. I don't believe that. Like, if Jekka wins, it's only by knockout in my opinion. He's not gonna have success grappling. And I do think Jubilee's pretty good, to be honest. Like, I watched his get-up game is good. When he got taken down, he jumped up pretty good. I know this is long-winded because I have a big bet on Jubilee. And I think there's a huge gap in skills here, in my opinion, especially in the striking. And I think in the grappling as well. I think Jubilee actually might come out and grapple here. So with that being said, I like the Jubilee submission prop at plus 850 here because I honestly think Jekka's grappling sucks, and we saw it in the one guy that gave him something back, Anga Hans. He gave him something back in the grappling, and he subbed him eventually. So give me Jubilee by submission, plus 850. Sorry for the long-winded breakdown, but I had to put.
I love it. I would just add this that this fight is another one of those fights for me where, like, I see this as like the plant your flag type fight of the week for a lot of people, and it's the closest line fight. So it's very common that the closest line fight of the week is one of the plant your flags fights. It isn't always, but it usually is. And I just think that this fight for me is not like, it's just another one like the one we were talking about before, where I don't have a super strong lean on this fight either way. And I think there's a lot of variance in this fight. So I think that when I usually historically when I'm betting these, I usually will pass, and then if you have a strong take on something, or sometimes I'll have a strong take on something, and then we just bet it. You know, you just follow the other guy and just tail it, because I think that's a great number. Obviously, I don't disagree. I think that the KO is the way for Sergey, but I also think that he's not good grappling too. So plus 850 is definitely on the other side, is a great way to go. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, and the other one thing I do want to say is, like, no, I don't think anybody knew about these injuries. For like, I had to dig deep because I have a big bet, so I wanted to make sure, like, I crossed my T's, crossed my T's, dotted my I's to make sure, like, I'm actually betting on a guy that I think is big value here, and I honestly think it's huge value here. Like, outside of like a big knockout like from Jekka, but what do we put that at? Like, this fight is even money right now. And you're only counting on Jekka to knock this guy out, that he took some very, very big punches from Kim. And to me, Kim is a way bigger puncher than Jekka. Jekka throws hard, but Kim is a lot more technical and has a ton of power. Like, and That's the one thing that really impressed me. Like, people will go back and say, oh, Jubilee fought nobody. Like, he beat a bunch of bums. Yeah, I agree with you. He beat a bunch of bums. But he also beat the best fighter in the road to UFC in Kim, that I think is close to UFC level. This guy, I think Kim is really good, man. And that's a big plus for me. Like, this guy beat a guy in the stand-up. He made him wrestle, Tim. He made Kim wrestle because he was working the body. He had some really nice body shots, working him upstairs. He made Kim wrestle, and Kim wants to strike. So what does that tell you? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm dead wrong here, and he gets knocked out. And I hedged a little on the knockout because he's hittable on the feet. But now that I learned all this new information about his broken toe, his fucked up knee, that kind of makes more sense why he was so flat-footed in that fight. He was really flat-footed when he was striking, because you can't really move around a lot when when you got a bad knee and a broken toe. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it is. I'm on all over Jubilee here. I really like Jubilee in this spot, and we'll see what happens. If Jekka knocks him out, he knocks him out, and I get something back from that. But yeah, I'm on Jubilee. Let's move on. Sorry. Fight number 8. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 6-1 Yasaku Kinoshita versus the 8-3 Adam Fugit. And I will kick this one off. I really like Kinoshita, man. I think Fugit is okay. I just think he's hittable. He doesn't have the best chin. And Kinoshita is probably one of the most violent fighters I've ever watched. Like, forget about him stomping the guy's head while he's grabbing the cage and gets DQ'd. But this guy is extremely violent, man. And he's only 22 years old. He's improving. His last fight, Dana White Contender Series, it was kind of a tough matchup because of how big the Brazilian was. I know it says like 6'3", but that Brazilian was 6'6", you know? He was huge. And he was having a hard time getting in the pocket, landing on this guy. When I looked at face-offs, they were almost about the same size, him and Fugit. I think he's going to KO Fugit, man. Like, I know Fugit might go for takedowns. I don't know if he's going to have success. I think eventually Kinoshita is going to KO him. I think it's going to be probably first round, the way he comes out. And round 1 KO for Kinoshita is plus 340. So that's what I'm going to go with. Tim, what do you like?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, goddamn. I think both of these guys that are expected to have power, like in knocked guy like Nakamura and Kinoshita, I'm with you, man. I think like the pick is that I think they both probably get knockouts early, but I think that the sublines are way the fuck off on both of them, and I think that you just got to take shots when you get these lines before they actually do get the subs. You know, like hitting Lemos by sub, hitting Ricky Simone by sub, like different guys that we've gotten at humongous fucking numbers, like Terrence McKinney, Jalen Turner. I can think of like a million of these fucking ones. Just you get them early, and then they start subbing people, and then you start seeing plus 300s and plus, you know, whatever all the time. So club and sub is like way more live, or just a stupid like rock him, and then a stupid like very, very bad shot for a takedown from Fugit. And then I think the sub is there. So sub plus 850 for Kinoshita. Not a bad look. Wow. I do think he KOs him.
I'm kind of surprised he went on the Kinoshita side. Like, I have a bet on Fugit by submission plus 1100.
Okay.
Just because he's the more credentialed, like, grappler, and we've seen him on the ground. He does have some submissions. And 1100 just feels like a little bit off, just because we don't have much information on Kinoshita being on his back and how he's going to look, right? So that's why I have a bet on that. But I agree. I think Kinoshita's going to knock him out. And I like the under there a lot. A good bid on that fight. Moving on, fight number 9. It is in the featherweight division. It is the comeback of the 14-4 Du Ho Choi versus the 13-5 Kyle Nelson. Timothy, what do you got here?
Boy, Choi is one of those guys that he's these guys are just both unreliable, but I like Choi more. I think he's a better fighter. I think Nelson is not good. I think going down to 145 is bad for him. I think Choi KO 1 at plus 260. KO2 plus 750 are good looks. I think that's his path. Both guys get tired. I think Nelson is a worse gasser than Choi is, but there's not a lot of, obviously Choi's been on a big layoff since his last fight. So that's the question mark that everybody's wondering what the hell's going to happen here. But yeah, I don't like the chin on Nelson. I don't like I think the durability edge. I think the striking edge. I just think it all leans to Choi. So yeah, Choi KO 1 plus 260, KO 2 plus 750. How about you?
Again, man, I love the spot here. I really do. I didn't understand some of this line movement that people were betting on Kyle Nelson, and the line came down to about 174 at some point. That's when I hit it. Again, I really love Doo Ho Choi in this spot. Like, when you look at this guy, yeah, he's been out for 3 years, but he continues to train. He's fought and beat, decent UFC fighters. He fought in the UFC, he had 3 wins, all by knockout in the first round. Then came back and fought, 3 really good fighters in the UFC, and Cub Swanson, Jeremy Stevens, and Charles Jourdain, right? And in every single one of those fights, he rocks those guys. And he rocks Jourdain pretty damn bad in that first round. He hurts Cub Swanson multiple times in that fight. And what do we know? Charles Jourdain is a durable dude. He's a tough dude. What do we know about Jeremy Stevens? Very, very durable, tough dude. What do we know about Swanson, back, 4 or 5 years ago? Durable, tough dude. All these guys have the same attributes, right? And that's why they survived and came back and beat Doo Ho Choi. Do I think Doo Ho Choi is a gasser? I don't think so. I think what happens is he hurts these guys. He's going for the kill, throwing everything in the kitchen sink, and he gets tired, right? And he doesn't finish them. I don't think he's a gasser. I do think Kyle Nelson's a gasser. And to top it off, Kyle Nelson's dropping to 45 for this fight. He fought at 55 previously. He's fought 55, multiple times. And shout out to Rips, because he listened to the interview. I didn't. He said that Nelson wanted a fight at 55. And the only fight that the UFC offered him was at 45 against Doo Ho Choi, right? And this fight was supposed to be in Korea, right? So 2 plus 2 equals 4. They wanted to get Doo Ho Choi a nice W. The guy's coming off 3-year layoff. Imagine the step down, right, Tim? From Jourdain, from Cub Swanson, and from Jeremy Stevens. They give him Kyle Nelson. Why? I'll say this again. Why Kyle Nelson at 45 too?
Big setup.
Because 1, his chin is going to be worse. 2, his cardio is going to be worse. So it's like everything points to Doo Ho Choi. I think he's going to knock him out probably early, but I'm going to go with KO 2-3 for my Lambo play. It's 470. If Nelson survives early, which, he's shown to survive, like he usually doesn't get stopped early. Like Diego Ferrer stopped him in a second. Matt Sales third. Billy Quarantillo in the third. He survived Herbert for the decision loss. Doo Ho Choi hits different, dude. Like, this guy hits extremely fucking hard, and I think he's gonna get the knockout. If it's 2-3, then it's plus 470. It's not a bad line, honestly, because I think Nelson's drawing probably to a KO1. I don't think he's winning any other way. He does have some power, but I think he's gonna get floored. He's gonna get knocked out here, and yeah, Choi KO 2-3. What do you got here, Tim?
I said it before.
Oh, you started it. Sorry. Let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 23-7 Marcin Tybura versus the 19-4 Bagloy Ivanov. And I have no idea how this fight's going to go. I have no idea if Tybura is going to get a takedown. I have no idea how these fucking, older guys are going to look. Ivanov fights close in almost all his fights, right? Split decision is plus 400. This fight is slated to go to decision at a pretty good clip, minus 200. How about split decision on either side? It's plus 400. That's how I'm going to go on this fight. I don't know where else to go.
Rinse and repeat, man. Only way to go in this fight. That's logical. I mean, it's not. I've heard a lot of takes on people like both sides saying that either guy could be finished, and I can kind of understand more the Ivanov side finishing than Tybura, because Tybura, like pre 2 fights ago, everybody was saying like this dude's chinny and da 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 da, and then he fights the last 2 fights against Volkov and Romanov, and now he's like got a fucking Drew Dober chin. So I get the fact that like Ivanov, the only problem is that like Ivanov hasn't finished like anybody recently, so I just don't see it as much. So it's kind of like a dirty boxing clinch fest. If somebody does take somebody down, I think both are competent BJJ guys to not allow much defensively. Defensively they'll stay responsible. So yeah, man, this is fucking split decision all over it, dude. If you like either side, 9-1 and 8-1, if you feel confidently on your fighter, betting them by decision in this fight and then by betting them by split is a fucking great way to go. I just think you get much better. You can bet their money line, but just like do 75% the money line and then do 25% these props, and you'll probably, if your guy hits, you're probably going to make 5 times what you would do at the money line.
Yeah, I mean, if you like a certain side or you feel very, passionate about one side, the problem is when a fight goes to split, then you can't be that passionate because if you're saying it's going to split, it could be any one of these 2 fighters winning. However, if you play the actual split, it's better than playing them separately. You get a little bit of better odds. So, but like you said, if you think one side's going to win the split more than the other, then by all means play it. Moving on, we are going to move on to the co-main event. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is 15-3-1. Da-Un Jung versus the 13-7 Devin Clark. What do you have here, Tim, for your Lambo play?
I got Jung KO, and I will talk through with you to think about what round I think this happens. I think it's going to be round 1 or round 2. So I'll say round 1 or round 2. I don't think round 3 is the more likely. Is out of his 11 KOs, 5 of them are in round 1, 4 of them are in round 2. I think he is a little bit more. I don't think he's like crazy front loaded. I think he still has his power. I think he still his cardio is okay in round 3, but excuse me. I think round 1, round 2, he'll do enough damage to Clark to get Clark to want to get out of there. I really don't think that Clark is like. I'm trying to be nice. I don't think that he's like a fighter in the truest sense. Like I think a lot of times in these fights, when it doesn't go his way, he just takes his balls and goes home. So yeah, give me Jung by KO in round 1 or round 2.
All right. I think it's round 3.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I mean, Jung has 3 of them in round 3 out of his 15 wins, which is it's coming out to like 20%. He's a plus 1,200. I don't want to pick KO or sub because I can see like a fucking tired Clark shooting a takedown and getting guillotined, similar to what Jung did to what's that one guy? Give me a second. Let me look him up. That Kadiz Ibragimov. When he was dead tired, he went and right into a guillotine, get standing guillotined. And I can kind of see something similar to Clark in the third. So I didn't want to pick KO or sub. But I do think there's some merit to playing round 3. I think Clark gasses. I think if Clark doesn't have success in the grappling, or he kind of like does have success, but Jung is making him work or he's getting back up, I think that's really going to zap his gas tank. And Clark has been taking a beating lately, man. Like he's been hurt a lot. He's been stopped. He's absolutely been taking a pounding lately. And his chin is probably going little by little here. The other prop that I kind of don't mind is if Clark wins, I do think it's by decision. And his decision prop is like plus 500. So I wouldn't mind sprinkling something like that on Devin Clark by decision at plus 500 because I think that's probably his best path.
Don't you like the? I mean, since you say round 3, don't you? I mean, because you say in the split, or it's not the split. Sorry, the submission is more live than most people think. You're getting such a fine line on sub. Like sub is like plus 850 for him. So then the sub 3 is like 50 to 1 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm not saying the reason why I said that is I think sub is live in that sense. Like there's a small chance that Devin Clark is tired. He jumps in. What I'm saying is I didn't want to just go KO because of that. Because I think like if I didn't think there was any chance, like there's a sub opportunity here, then I would just play KO round 3. Right?
It's the same as Kinoshita. It's the same. I feel the same way. I feel the exact same way about Kinoshita.
So, but yeah, that's my reason. I mean, that's basically why. But yeah, before we move on to the main event, there is 64 of you in here. Thank you very, very much to each and every one of you. We're growing every week, week over week. So I appreciate all of you. One thing I can ask is please hit the like, please subscribe, leave some comments. I usually answer all of them. If you want to talk shit to me, go ahead and talk shit. It's okay. The other thing I do want to talk about is I do a video for OddsShopper every week. It's my 3 best bets. I did it again. I think it's out already. I will retweet it. But it's out already. It's I work for OddsShopper. I drop a video once a week. And also I did leave a link down below. And when I tell you I left the link, I don't just I'm not trying to say, here's the link, these guys are great. I'm in the Discord with them, and there's a lot of sharp guys betting from a betting aspect in that Discord. Dude, these guys are really sharp. They've been killing NBA props, bets, NBA. All I see is them winning. I haven't tailed them, but they have the numbers out there. I will get the numbers for you guys, but they're insane, really, really good. Most of these guys are DFS guys, but they're really good with the numbers and the gambling, and they're all in there. I'm in there all the time, so I give a bunch of my regional plays and shit like that. But it's a really nice Discord. If you want to join, it's half off the first week. It's like $9.98 or something, $9.95, $19.98 thereafter. But I just want to shout them out because they're really good, man. I'm in there. They're always giving freaking great plays. So with that being said,
I gotta say something to someone in the chat. They got David Killebrew is saying, "Listen, man, if you're gonna go." You got to do the quote right. It is not run to the chopper. It is get to the chopper. It is run, go, get to the chopper. That's where you wanted to go with that one.
Look at this. Mushroom says, stop bragging. What am I bragging about, man? All I do is give free plays and winners, and I'm bragging. Listen to this guy. All right, let's move on to the main event. Before I move on to the main event, now that Mushroom's getting popular, he's starting to get cocky. You noticed that, right, Tim? But moving on to the main event, it is in the heavyweight division. It is the 26-10 Derek Lewis versus the 15-3 Sergey Spivak. And I will give this one off. Lewis 1-2-3 KO is plus 340 on FanDuel. I think that's off. Is he going to get a 4th round KO? Is he going to get a 5th round? I don't think so. If the fight's getting that far, he's probably going to be finished. He's probably going to be gassed. I don't know, one of those things. But I think he finishes. His KO props are all early, should be early. It's a decent line, man. Plus 340. His KO line's like 260 or 240, and they're giving you 80 cents better. I think it's worth it because I think most of his finishing equities early on. So Lewis 1-2-3 KO plus 340 on FanDuel. What do you like here, Tim?
Yeah, I think this fight has been really weird for me because I go back and forth and I look at last times I've broken down this fight, the few times that we've had a chance to do it, and it's just always the same thing. It's Lewis is really dangerous against certain fighters and fucking absolutely bet against him against other certain types of fighters. And the fighters that you want to bet against him on are guys that have serious power and that can fucking scare him on the feet, that he's not going to go, he doesn't feel threatened, or he feels threatened. So I feel like the last few fights you've gotten that, and I think that the fights that, you know, the fights where he gets grapplers and that don't hit very hard are the ones that, and where he's a big dog, are the ones where you want to take a shot on him, and that's like everything that you're getting here. So I think that this is Lewis KO 1, Lewis KO 2, Lewis KO 3. I mean, I honestly think that the numbers are like you said, plus 340 is awesome, but plus 700, plus 1200, plus 2300. I mean, like, I honestly think it's more like round 1 or round 2 for the same reasons that you don't think it gets out of round 3. But I think you're right there. The round 3 that's plus 2300 is a must bet if you're going to bet plus 1200 and plus 700. So those will all be bet by me for sure by tomorrow. And, you know, I just think it's a good way to go. And you get the guy, he's lost like 25 pounds puking or working out. I don't care if it's the cocaine diet. Let's just, you know, he's 25 pounds lighter. He's moving faster.
All right. But he weighed in the same amount as he weighed in before. Like he weighed almost at the limit. So
did he?
Yeah, he didn't really like. I don't know how true that is. That you're talking about Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Nah, he weighed in the same. He just
looked way tighter.
He looked a little bit tighter, I would say. Yeah, I mean, but he was maybe put on some little bit more muscle, lost some fat, maybe, but he's right there at the cusp of the heavyweight limit. So, but yeah, I mean, I kind of both think alike on that main event. But yeah, that's it. All 12 fights. We will be giving you our Lambo parlays. Tim, you want to kick this one off?
Sure.
Your Lambo parlay? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's. I have 2. I just did a 2-legger and a 3-legger. We'll know if you want them in the first 3 fights. Start off with Kim KO 2-3 and Young Park sub 2-3. And that's 87-1. And then if you wanted to add Tyra by sub, it makes it 150-1. So those are solid.
Do you have the other one? Is that?
Oh, no, that was it. That was
adding.
Yeah,
okay,
if you just you take the 87-1 with Kim KO 2-3 and Park sub 2-3 on FanDuel, and then just add sub Tyra, and it makes it 150-1 from 87-1.
All right, mine is gonna be called the KO prop. Okay, so it is. Get ready for this one. It is Choi. Well, Choi, just take inside the distance because there's not much difference between KO and inside the distance. So it's plus 110 compared to plus 120. So it's not even worth it. So take Choi inside the distance. Jung, I gotta make sure I'm giving you guys the right guy. Jung Ying Lee. Okay. So the Korean super boy, whatever his name, plus 135 by KO. Kinoshita by KO plus 135. And Nakamura by KO plus 105. And the last one is Tyra by KO at plus 600. That will give you 165-1. So it's basically an all KO prop on basically all one. I'm gonna make sure 1, 2, 3 Japan guys, right? And 2 Korean guys. So
what is that? What is that if you take Tyra off or if you take Tyra to sub? I'm curious.
No, if you take Tyra off, it's 22-1.
Okay.
It's small because they're all like plus.
But if you added sub, it would probably put him to like still 40.
What is sub?
Minus 140.
It's not going to do that much.
It's plus 22. If it's 22-1,
it's
probably
40-1.
Yeah, like I said, 40.
Yeah, if you want to do sub instead of Tyra KO,
it's a good. But I just think it's a great hedge because I think he finishes.
I think all these, to be honest, all these guys are very, very live for KOs, and I think they're all gonna finish by KO. Maybe you can add Derek Lewis by KO. What's Derek Lewis by KO? 260?
240 plus 240.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty live, right? 240. Yeah. I might do that actually. Yeah, 80-1 if you add Derek Lewis, who is very live to get a knockout at any point. So yeah, I mean if you want to do Choi, Lee, Kinoshita, Nakamura, and Derek Lewis, then you get 80 to 1. So I'm gonna do both of them and see what happens. But yeah, guys, that's it. We hammered through all of these. Thomas Kane says Clark is live. Third fight at Team Elevation. Just got a feeling. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's not live. Definitely Clark is live. He needs to get takedowns. Like, if he doesn't get takedowns, he's live to get killed, I think. So he's not very good on the feet, man. He gets hit too much. And Daun Jung is the much like longer guy, bigger guy. So yeah. I think that is it. Kyle Marley's in the house. What's up, my brother? And that's it, guys. Any other questions? I can answer them real quick, but if not, yes, do Choi. Yes, sir. KO. Or inside the distance. Don't take KO. It's 10 points off. It's stupid. You never know. He's got a black belt. He just got his black belt. Doohoo Choi just got his black belt, so you never know. Kyle Nelson likes to grapple a lot, too. He likes to go for takedowns. Who knows? What's his submission prop, by the way? I might act crazy, and he just got his black belt. Maybe he goes ham and tries to get a sub here. But no, I do not watch Power Slam. No, I don't. But I'm not going to go on Twitter either and complain about it either, because I don't care. It's there for a reason. There's obviously people watching it. So could you repeat your parlay? The name's messed up. I know the names are messed up. Okay. Doohoo Choi inside the distance.
Lee.
Young Lee, whose nickname is the Korean Tiger. Sorry, not the Korean Superboys, Doohoo Choi. By KO at plus 135. Kinoshita, who's Yasaku Kinoshita by KO, plus 135. And Nakamura, Rinya Nakamura by KO, plus 105. And then the last leg, you can either add Tatsura Tyra by KO or Derek Lewis by KO. And one of them is 170 to 1 and the other one's 80 to 1. But yeah, that's it, guys. I will be doing a live spaces tomorrow for the Bellator and then some of the UFC, but not the whole thing because it's going into wee hours of the morning. My kids are sleeping. There's too much celebrating going on. You know how it is. It might be pants off Sunday at that point. So, yeah, guys, thank you very, very much again. Hit the like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Set your notifications for when my my YouTube stuff goes on. I got to start doing more like Bellator stuff and stuff like that on my YouTube. But I do a bunch of spaces and stuff. So thank you, Nevro. Appreciate you, brother. Who is least likely to get a finish on Saturday? Like what fight doesn't get to
Andy Bohm. Mandy Bohm.
I kind of think Tybura Ivanov, but I think Mandy Bohm might get knocked out. So
oh no, I thought he was saying like which fighter or which fight.
No, he's saying who is the least likely to get a finish. Like the fighter? I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. Maybe he was asking about the part.
I think Bagoy, Ivanov, and Tybura is probably going to go to decision. But again, it's heavyweights in a small cage. So I never want to bet against that either. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. 53 of you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. See you guys tomorrow. And let's cash those freaking tickets.